Lights. What up, Rach? Double G, the winning team.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Got it. Hopping off the plane. Things will never be the same. Letting go of the fake birds and the faux pies and the fake friends and the faux ties, but I can't complain. Cause I'm not the same, no, I'm not the same. Yeah. Hopping off the plane. Things will never be the same. Letting go of the fake birds and the faux pies and the fake friends and the faux jobs, but I can't complain. Cause I'm not the same, no, not the same. No, not the same. I don't brag to no broke nigga. If you don't see me, I ain't pussy, get your vote. Retired these whole bitches. Say they love you, but we quick to cut your throat. You can suck on a cold cock. He ain't mine, but he probably an old cock. I ain't finna, but I don't hold a love my twat. You can take shots, but still handling a cold block. It's really starting to bore me. All these ghosts are here, they look horny. I wanna work, but niggas wanna flirt. Yeah, that's the type of shit that ain't for me. I'm making my rounds. It's a couple of niggas still up in my town. Said I'm leaving, will you hold me down? Why they pushing them high off the ground? Cause I'm leaving it, dog. I won't go back a call. Probably wouldn't love me at all. The way I don't miss them. Train to conquer it all. While I kiss them. Little hurt is involved. So I love the distance. Got cash by the liquids. I'ma run through it, so I had to piss them. Hopping off the plane. Things will never be the same. Letting go of the fake birds and the faux pies and the fake friends and the faux jobs, but I can't complain. Cause I'm not the same, no, I'm not the same. Yeah. Hopping off the plane. Things will never be the same. Letting go of the fake birds and the faux pies and the fake friends and the faux jobs, but I can't complain. Cause I'm not the same, no, not the same. No, not the same. Money in the bag, I ain't pushing jack. I took it all to invest, 1 in a million. My city gon' be back, they ain't all getting paid. I flew the top and gave you lighting with no ceiling. Now I'm hopping off the airplane, fresh flying. I'm blessed, turn into a shit that come and get me. Walk around so blatant with the sash gang on my chest. Talk so much they thought I was a hippie. I'm not a fan.
Like Double G. Marie Freeze on the GG. Don't ask about me. Don't ask about me. Going beep beep in a new Jeep. You can't flex without me. Can't flex without me. Gas bag and the rest is cloudy. Cash app in my section rowdy. Better pay them niggas before they hurt somebody. Might chop that ass. We don't do karate. No cold cuts. I don't do salami. Eating calamari off the plane in Cali. Gotta get the change. I can't explain. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, baby. I got this not for my babies. I make it rock for my babies. I make it rock like the 80s. I spit like Glocks off of safety. Wanna ask a stupid question like it's Lexi dope. Here's another one. Who gon' be the next to blow? Got C4 strapped to this romper hoe. Looking for the next city I could conquer, yo. I'ma give you just enough room to breathe. You ain't here by choice, well, there's room to leave. You gon' believe what you gon' perceive. I'm a chasing nigga, only chasing dreams. I won't chase my liquor, bitch, I'm chasing green. Yo, I won't chase my liquor, bitch, I'm chasing green. Likes, bitch.
But I did that chopper like I see you, boy.
I don't really care about the finer things. Just make sure my family good and take them places they ain't never seen and do the things they wanna do but never could. I just wanna make my mama proud. I just wanna buy them all a house. I just wanna put on for my team. I'm trying to make sure everybody ain't about to worry about no drama. Ain't about to worry about no stress. I'm trying to wrap me up some commas. Ain't really worry about the next. I'm trying to focus on my grind. I'm trying to keep real ones around me. I gotta keep a positive mind. I gotta protect my energy. So tell a hater I said, la 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 la. I'm living my best life. La One day I wake up in Greece, staring at the ocean in disbelief. Cause everything that I used to dream is now reality. My face all strong, I'ma claim it now. It feels so good to see my mama smile. It feels so good to see my family proud. Used to see it negative, we see it thousands. And we worry about what we take control. Can't do nothing about it, just let it go. Life is precious, so I'm living like gold. And I gotta keep it real, cause that's all I know. Went from hand-me-downs to the Grammys now. Oh, how I wish Granny could see me now. Oh, how you wish that you could be around. Middle finger to anybody that ever worry about no drama. Ain't about to worry about no stress. I'm trying to wrap me up some commas. Ain't really worry about the next. I'm trying to focus on my grind. I'm trying to keep real ones around me. I gotta keep a positive mind. I gotta protect my energy. So tell a hater I say, la 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 la. La, 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 la. I'm living my best life. La, 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 la. I'm living my best life. La, 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 la. I'm living my best life. La, 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 la. So still a hater, I say. La, 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 la. I'm living my best life. La, 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 la. I'm living my best life.
What's up, guys? Y'all, you guys know I'm new to this. I'm not true to this. Listen, all I did was literally hit the button and some stuff happened.
Every time he does that.
Yeah, you know, I
can't even blame it on the man.
Right.
Listen.
Say sorry.
Like that. You guys, just bear with me. Swamp's not here. We're gonna turn up though tonight without him.
He's so sad right now.
Yo, look out, world. It's the homie with the same trophy every year, man.
Actually, he's not. He's about to get paid. Are you going after?
Listen.
No, where he at?
We're working on it, guys.
7?
So, welcome. This is Breaking Down Radio. Tiffany's over there chit-chapping.
Sorry.
Equalizers.
Oh, is it?
So this is a little different for us tonight. It's all girls. Swamp's getting paid.
I love him. He's so funny.
He's at Idlewild doing a show right with Danger.
Is it Just Joking? The Just Joking show? Yeah.
Just Joking. So Tiff and I have attacked almost all of the fun girls that we know that are available today and are doing something in the city. We're going to have girl time.
Yay.
Yay.
That's what I like.
Yes, we're going to drink happy drinks, eat spin dip, and talk about just all the awesomeness of Columbus and how we can really get together and support each other a little bit more. So, Tiff, you want to, well, I guess everybody knows you.
Oh.
Ladies, y'all want to introduce yourselves?
What are you about to ask me? I don't know.
We have more girls coming, you know, it's a party, so do know it might be some twerking at the end.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, my drink is strong.
I know you did it on purpose.
Strawberry lemonade.
I know. I told her.
Trying to get us clapping.
Meanwhile, I totally have to go to work right after this.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm real sad that you
just got off work. Got to work in the morning.
All my friends, and we're gonna drink a whole bunch of drinks, and I'm gonna be sad when I have to like put on my work clothes.
We have an after party at your job. I mean,
this is true.
That is true. We've done it before.
And she sips with her pinky up.
Well, I mean, it is a Camelot cellar, so there's plenty of wine. I think they're, ironically, I think they're having a cocktail.
I mean, I can. I am Tia Lynn. T. Lynn. I am an activist model here in the community. I support all of my local talented individuals. I've been here a few times. I'm a close friend to all of the hosts here on the show. I've been here since the beginning. I'm always going to pull through if they tell me to come through because I'm ready to have a good time. I've been working like crazy. So this is my day off. I'm ready to party, see what's up, chat a little bit, turn up.
That's what's up. Go, Will.
You got to speak into that mic, Tit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Tiffany. This is my first time on any radio station. So,
who are you? What do you do, girl?
Yeah,
Why
I'll
are
say
you
a little bit about
here?
me. So I basically have a social club, Mahogany Divas, and basically what we do, we get together, work on community service projects, as well as just have a good time. This Saturday, we're actually doing a women empowerment girls' night in. So it'll be fun. And what else do? I do T-shirts.
You did that wine glass, right? That was who did that wine glass? Okay.
No, actually, it was Ashley.
Okay.
Yes, another friend.
Oh, but are y'all a part of the same? Because it had the MD on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I do got my hands in a little bit of all different type of things. But, yeah. So that's a little bit of
That's my president, you guys.
Nice.
Nice. I like that. I am Danielle D. Smith, and I am an author. I'm the author of Yesterday's Tomorrow. I'm a filmmaker. My film is Don't Be Quiet. I am a speaker as well as an advocate for those that are dealing with abuse. I have a movement called Don't Be Quiet, and that is me. And I am her.
All right.
Yes. We'll have some more ladies coming through. We got Rach, World Beats popping through. Nandi B's supposed to pull up on us. And if she doesn't, to know I'm drinking her bottle.
She will be so sad she missed it.
Oh, God. And who else is coming by?
Rachel Renee.
Oh, Rachel Renee. Yes, with Blatant. Columbus Unite.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Whitney
Chanel.
And Nicole Simpson.
So it's going to be a fun time.
Supporting.
So
it's a lot of point of views. This is nice.
Yeah, and we're also only gonna play all girls music. So we played Jazz the Artist already, and we played Rachel Beats. So later we're gonna play Raindrop. The only guy song we are gonna play today is by Vic the Purifier. So I met Vic through a friend that I met through Square. You know how it is. It's like a small world, right? Columbus is so connected. I have to shout Square out because he always connects me with the coolest people. Yeah. And he has this song called Every Man's Fear. And I have sent this song to every man that I love. And I'm like, listen, no judgment. I'm not saying this is who you are. I'm just saying you need to listen.
Nice.
So we're going to listen to the song in a little bit. Then we're going to talk about it.
Nice.
I like it.
You know, be scared.
Sounds powerful.
Be real scared. It's going to make you cry.
Mm-hmm.
Vic the Purifier. Yeah, look, I know, Tiff. It's going to make you cry.
I'm like, okay, we'll see.
I'm telling you.
I'm not really in the mood right now.
I cried in the car outside of the gym. Are we going to talk about, do you have any like hot topics or no? We're just going to talk about us. Okay.
She got that spin dip in her mouth. She can't say much anything.
I mean, you'll never like it when I tell you my hot topics. You be hating on all of them. So, I don't know.
Where is Jordan at right now? He already said, he was like, you two are going to get it tonight.
I don't even like to argue, but I like to debate.
Yes.
Well, one thing I'm kind of intrigued by, I just heard about this. Tyra Banks has Model Land coming out. She's always long since thought like Disneyland was dope and like loved the concept of leaving a legacy. And obviously her legacy is in modeling. So she is developing Model Land. It is set to open in late 2019 this year. And Santa Monica is going to be the first location. And basically it's a place where there's going to be like, you know, things you can buy and dining and stuff, but it's basically different attractions where you get to feel beautiful and see your dream version of yourself. Now, there was no other information other than that, but it sounds intriguing, and I'm excited for her because I think Tyra Banks has been doing her thing for a really long time. And both the Rachels just pulled up. So I'm excited to see what she's got in store. I don't know. I always wanted to be a model.
We can share mics. It's going to get real crowded in here. We still have a few more girls coming
Very good
through.
to see you.
Over here, behind Tiffany, we have drinks and we have food. Yes.
Drinks and food. Food and drinks.
Somebody smells good. Both of these girls smell good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So real quick, we'll play a song by Miss Raindrop, and then we'll come back and we'll get into a little conversation about the importance of queens fixing each other's crowns and how we can work better in Columbus together as women.
VIP.
This is the story you've heard about. The monster.
Look, never gave a fuck for her fake. Bad rubber bands make that rush shake. Bad rubber bands make her do things she wouldn't do on the first day. Big booty contest, first place. She bump, stuck at first base. I'm finna buy a round for my niggas, then find me a chick that's down for my dog. I could do this shit that's a cold rear. Tell a hoe dare with a booty looking so rare. Make these stare with this ice like a pole bear. Niggas hating on me, but that don't get you nowhere. Everything's on me. Lifestyle is a drug. Make your show D. Boy, I can't control it if the chose me. I just keep everything so G. Tell me.
I don't know why they hating on me. I ain't even did it big, yeah, I'm still low key. I don't know why they hating on me. I ain't even did it big, yeah, I'm still low key. I put on for my city. Got OGs vouching for me. You can call me drop, make them OD. Make them OD. Call me drop, make them OD. You can call me drop, make them OD. OD. You can call me drop, make them OD. OD. Yeah, it's real how I feel. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I'm getting out, I'm a big deal. But putting in work and my wrist is giving me chills. For real. Why they hanging on me like T.I.? I just handle my biz like V.I. Watching every move like a P.I. They hanging on me and I see why. P.S. I don't play no games like recess. Not putting up with B.S. MPP when you see us. Sipping on V.S. OP, you know me. I that out me. Even wanna me. Smoking on OG. Might around an OD. I don't know why they hating on me. I ain't even did it big, yeah, I'm still low key. I don't know why they hating on me. I ain't even did it big, yeah, I'm still low key. I put on for my city. Got OGs vouching for me. You can call me drop, make them OD. Make them OD. Call me drop, make them OD. You can call me drop, make them OD. OD. You can call me drop, make them OD. Make them OD. OD. I never thought I'd risk being hurt again. But you may be worth giving love another chance. And as I stand on the edge, I'm thinking I ain't never been this high. In the back of my head, I'm hoping I know how to fall for you. Promise that you'll save me, be my parachute. Baby, if I fall for you, promise that you'll save me, I'll give my all to you. Expectations I didn't have any, but you turning out to be everything I need. I was afraid to fly, but you the air under my wings, and I'm falling fast. Baby, will you catch me? Baby, if I fall for you, promise that you'll save me. Be my parachute. Baby, if I fall for you, promise that you'll save me. I'll give my all to you. Will you save me? Will you be my parachute? Will you save me? Will you be my baby if I fall for you? Promise that you'll save me. Be my parents that you save me, baby, if I fall for you. Promise that you'll save me. I'll give my all to you.
That was Parachute by Jazz the Artist. And then we played a song by Raindrop called OD with Fizz in it. I believe that was Little Fizz. I'm not really 100% sure. But I will say that both of those songs, Pop and Parachute, is my jam. I've been rocking with it for like a little over a year now. So shout out to her. So, Tiff, we have now 3 new people in the room. Let them introduce themselves. Rachel's, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yo, my name is Rach, Ferratus the Goddess. How y'all feeling?
Hey.
Feel saucy.
How you doing?
This is Rachel.
Yes.
Glad to see everybody. Blatant out here, Columbus Unite out here. Glad to be here.
That's what's up. You swing that way.
Oh, yeah.
Nicole.
For who? For me?
Yeah,
Introduce yourself.
Hey, it's me, Nicole Simpson.
What do you do?
Are we doing this whole thing?
You just haven't quit.
I'm Nicole Simpson, the Urban Cash Coach.
All right. That was good. I like that. All right. So we got a myriad of ladies with lots of different talents and backgrounds in the room. So let's kick off the first topic. I don't know. You want to start off with the Bow Wow thing?
Let's do it.
All right. So Bow Wow and his ex-girlfriend got into some sort of altercation over Super Bowl weekend. They supposedly were at an event, and supposedly, according to him, she had her hands all over some other dude. He felt disrespected and was like, all right, we about to leave. They left, and then I guess some sort of altercation, ensued afterwards. And so you're so weird. And so, but at the end, both of them were arrested because there are physical marks all over Bow Wow's face. If y'all have not seen that mugshot, it looks pretty terrible. But here is the question. So after coming off of a year of this whole Me Too movement versus of sexual abuse and sexual intimidation on the job and all, just physical abuse of women, mental abuse. Here's a situation where a man was clearly abused and he is getting a lot of ridicule coming his way rather than praise for him keeping his hands to himself, or hopefully keeping his hands to himself. According to her, he definitely hit her a lot of times and dragged her by her ponytail all throughout the apartment. But there was not any evidence of that, according to the police. So I don't know. So our thought process is what? I mean, I think obviously there's a major double standard. Yes, we want women to feel like they are protected. But at the same time, is it cool if women aren't clearly out here using the system to their advantage to embellish or add to the story? If that's not really what happened. And he did keep maybe he kept his hands to a minimum, if not completely to himself. So
How tall is she? Because Bow Wow is like 4'9".
In little pictures, she looks like not that much taller than him. So I don't know if she just worked on her shoe selection or how that works.
But definitely taller, right?
I don't know.
Is
Either
Bow
way,
Wow a victim of bullying?
According to his face, yes, it is. Yes.
Can't be beating up on no little kid.
I just looked at the mugshot, and if you look at the mugshot, like she looks perfect.
Right.
Like he did not drag her ponytail flat out. Her weave would have been snatched out because it's clearly a weave.
Yeah.
As my daughter calls it, a weave. Those are tracks. Everything. No, she looked fine. The makeup even looked good still. While he's sitting over there, tore up face is just like it looked like she just clawed his face across, and he's just looking like, why am I here?
Yeah, and she reportedly had a ton of like broken fingernails and like had like blood underneath the nails. So obviously, it would attest to why his face is so scratched up. I don't know.
Well, definitely the "Don't Be Quiet" lady is going to speak. First of all, we were discussing off air, you know, I don't like it that men feel that they cannot speak up and say when something has happened to them. First of all, women provoke men a lot of times to hit them. You know, this whole thing of a woman saying, hit me, you know, do something. We can't provoke men. I hear you on how big is he, how tall is he. Regardless, he's a man. Okay. A man is always going to be stronger than a woman in different ways. Okay. Doesn't always have to be in size and height and all that. He's a man. Let him be a man. A man is always supposed to be stronger than a woman. Let me put it that way. Supposed to be stronger than a woman. That is physically and mentally. Okay. He's the man. He's the head. He's the lead. So these men, though, feel that they don't have a leg, quote unquote, to stand on to speak up and say that a woman has hit them, has abused them. It happens all the time. Okay. And as they went to jail, both of them went to jail. Why? Because we don't know what happened. That's how they looking at it. We don't really know what happened. We gotta send both of them to jail. Although when we look at the pictures, we can tell that he was jacked up. Why wasn't she just taken to jail? But because he's a man in the double standards of this, that is why he went to jail as well. So my thing is, men must speak up, but we must allow men to speak up. Okay, because we know that women abuse men. We must allow these men to speak up because they have something to say as well. There are many men that have been abused sexually as a child, as an adult, you know, in their teenage years. And we have to allow them to still speak up. They're not less than a man because they've been abused. Like, we're mad because he didn't hit her back, so you clown him. But like you said, if he hit her and we saw the evidence on her face as well, then I can't believe you hit a sister. Oh, I can't believe you hit her. Oh, I can't believe you did all this. No, let him be a man. He's still a man because he did not hit her. So why are we dogging him and dragging him through the mud and not supporting him and saying, dude, first of all, thank you for not putting your hands on her. Second of all, thank you for taking a stance. If she was disrespecting him, he just took a stance and said, don't disrespect me. That's taking a stand. So why do we have to dog him? Why? He's still a man.
Thank you for "Don't Be Quiet."
Hashtag don't be quiet.
There it is.
Yes. I think that you just answered
like
the
you
whole
said.
question.
And like you said, how men is supposed to be
ringing
stronger,
bell.
are they automatically seen stronger than the women? And I do think that's the case, especially you think about how they both got arrested. You don't see cases, police gonna be like, oh, they arguing who's who, and the fact that they took both of them in, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that just took an empathy for the woman. They automatically, they don't foresee it as the woman was just doing something that's not normal, or just to make her be quiet. All right, y'all both getting arrested, and I don't think that you see often a situation where the woman's just getting arrested and the guy getting off clean. You know, people don't even assume that that's the case. So, I mean, yeah, it says a lot about, you know, they assume that the men's just going to be okay tag along getting arrested too, because you can't determine a blame. There's plenty of circumstances where women have no marks, no nothing, and the man gets arrested and call it a day. You know, so I just, you're right. The double standard is definitely different. And I think the strength in what men are able to take, I think the police and, you know, other authority know that as well. And they're not as lenient, I guess, for men. They think, you know, they can just take this slap on the wrist. And they don't think about the consequences that it has on men a lot, you know, because they don't, their word, like you said, it doesn't stand as heavy as a woman.
And unfortunately, I will have to say this, you know, I deal with employment, and there are a lot of men that cannot get jobs after having a case like this. So I definitely feel that it's important for women to be charged. Like, let's talk about you falsely accused him. Let's start there. If we're not going to put the assault or domestic violence, we're not going to put that on her. Definitely you had a false claim. Let's just start there.
Bow Wow been trying to tell us he been getting beat on and abused since lottery ticket. Remember Tiana was like,
No,
Byron.
You literally took those thoughts out of my mind, because think about Erica Mena. We all know Erica Mena is crazy as hell.
Yeah, I just looked at her mugshot just now.
Yeah, she's crazy as hell. You don't think she whooping Safari's ass? Come on now. He has a history of being with very strong women who, in a sense, probably, I mean, not no shade to his mom, but they're like his mom, like, you know, very just strong. They don't take any stuff, and they will lead him in the direction that he needs to go, because he seems to be a little bit of a follower. I feel like.
Or it might be that he has a lot of home training. He's raised by his mom, and he probably heard that same thing that most men hear, which is you never put your hands on a woman, whether it's a sister, whether it's a girl, like a girlfriend, whether it's somebody at school. DL was talking about this earlier today, and it's ingrained in them. So they are naturally like dodging blows rather than, you know, protecting themselves like they would a man. Now, do I want him to be the aggressor or fight her back? No, absolutely not. I mean, I think what you're generally hopeful that men will do is like leave, like just, but there are the women that will chase them down and be like, oh, you just gonna run out of this I mean, I've been a crazy girl before, and, you know, depending on the topic or what I'm upset about, like, oh, you're not just gonna walk away from me. You're gonna hear everything I got to say, whether I'm all in your face or not. Obviously, it can only go but so far, and a man will sometimes have an oops. And I mean, it's not accepted, but at the same time, it happens. It's reality.
I think that what you touched on is really important with it is the part that you talked about the cycle part, you know, the mom or the family history. And, you know, obviously, I mean, it's pretty easy for us to just say, like, nobody should be hitting anybody. But the problem is, like, yes, charges should come, but also, like, we need to be equipping people on how to productively have conflict. People have no idea how to disagree productively. And especially if we're emotional, like, we don't know how to convey our emotion. I know I don't even know how to. Like, I struggle with that immensely. I have been the crazy girl as well. You get emotional, you feel like you're not being heard, and your processing or your ability to deal with that isn't high enough, and it escalates. So we need to take that just really seriously with our loved ones and with ourselves, like really like equipping so that we can have conflict and actually talk it out instead of it getting here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because, I mean, out of all the ladies that's in here, is there anybody who has not got into a fight with their boyfriend or a guy and might have actually looked like they was winning? Like, I mean, I know for a fact that I done had to throw some hands before, and it has absolutely happened. I'm not saying that it should have happened. But when I walked away, I was just like, yeah, I ain't no slouch. And I think he was like, not necessarily trying to let me win. You know, I mean, I don't think that was the case. I didn't leave no marks or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? It oftentimes comes down to that. So you're right. We have to be able to take some steps back to figure out how do we even get here? Because now it's whose fault is it? Should they hit back? What should charges? So and so and so. You're absolutely right. How do we take 10 steps back and figure out how do we deal with our communication skills and what is happening in the relationship that would get you to 10 like that? You know, was she being disrespectful? by talking and being in some other man's face? And was that something that should have provoked him? You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of things that we're not necessarily bringing to the forefront when we talk about it. We're just talking about in the heat of the moment. And, you know, when it comes to throwing blows, it don't even matter what happened 10 steps before. At that point, it's just, you know what I'm saying, fight, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I
now
mean,
you're in crisis mode. Now you're actually in an instinctual mode. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do we handle the situation? Because I'm telling you right now, I was raised in an abusive household. So if a man raises his voice at me, chances are I'm gonna strike first. Just because when my grandpa yelled at my grandma, he knocked her ass out momentarily afterwards. And I already know I ain't going down. So you come at me, I'm knocking you out first. And not even that might not be his situation, but that's my own story. And so I see it and I hear it as soon as I hear that octave hit in that man's voice. And I'm telling you right now, I'm coming for you and you going down no matter how big you are, you know? And there's a lot of people who are in that situation that black out. So what's that commentary? Are we going to hold ourselves accountable? What do you think?
Okay, so first, I know you. So I know you how you like to come. So yeah, let's have that commentary. Okay, so we have to look at ourselves and say, why are we allowing someone to take us to 10? Okay, so some things that I've learned and that I do is, and first of all, I've been in a domestic violence situation, physical first, because that's what we're talking about. And I can guarantee you, I'm not that girl that's gonna come at me. I don't do that. Okay. I'm a real calm person. We can argue just like this. Like, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? And it could be an argument. That's what I prefer. And I like to have disagreements, you know. Let's just have a disagreement. We ain't gotta argue, holler, and fuss and all that kind of stuff. But why do we allow people to take us to 10? So if you see it escalating in there because it's two people, you and that other person are involved. If you see that it's getting there, then it's your obligation to walk away. Guess what? We as women, we always want to be right and we always want to have the last word. But guess what? You walking away, that was your last word. Because what I used to tell my ex-husband is like, when we would get into an argument, I had to get to a point where I was like, you know what? I said everything I had to say. I'm not going to say anything else. Like, I'm warning you. I'm not going to say anything else. Now, does that anger them? Yes, it is going to anger them. But I can walk out. And I can walk out and we can talk about it later, because obviously you need some time to calm down. I need some time to calm down. And we can come back to the situation, or I can walk out and never come back. Those are the two options. But I'm not going to do no rah-rah with you because I said my last word. So us going back and forth, you're not hearing me, I'm not hearing you. Because if you want 10 and I'm on 10, we're not hearing each other. We just talking now. We hollering just to hear each other. But to hear each other, but not to listen. So at this point, if you're hollering and screaming, I really didn't hear what you said. I just wanted to get off some steam. But we have to stop that. We are queens. Let's act as if we are, and let's be calm. And we're educated. Everybody in here educated. Let's act that. That's what you're not gonna do. He was like, no, I'm not. But I'm saying let's level up. And level up means let me diffuse the situation, because he don't need to go there either, right? So let me be the person to be like, listen, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. So if I'm quiet, he gonna be quiet. Okay. Yes, my hashtag is don't be quiet, but in this instance, we're gonna be quiet. And I'm gonna just diffuse the situation. So that's what we have to do. Count to 10 if you have to. Okay, because at this point, you really do want to be heard, right? Because you're arguing about something, you're having a disagreement about something. So you do want to be heard, but I can't hear you if we argue, if we loud, if we're screaming. So let's get away from it. And women, when our men say, hey, I need to get away from you for a minute, let him go. So that y'all can come back and have a calm situation and have pillow talk again. That's what you really want to do, is have pillow talk.
And I feel like women are so irrational when we're rational. Like, when we know we're right, we just take it to the next level. And it's like when the tables are turned and we finally see the man acting like that towards us, we're like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, chill out. Like, how dare you start arguing? Keep up. Like, nah, man. I want to go to the corner store. Like, you see a man coming at you, like, you're acting like a female, but it seems crazy. Like, that's how we act.
So why do we have to demean him and say that he acting like a female because he want to walk
It's
away
not
from
even
you?
that. It's to self-reflect. Like, this is how we act.
Right. And it's not right.
Yeah,
I
so it's
demeaned
like,
you by
you know,
saying that you acting like a female, so now I'm calling you a female, but you're a man.
I think
Let
also,
him be a man.
like, though, I mean, practically in the moment, like, that's, you know, the 10 steps back and all that is excellent. But we also need to, like, when we're not arguing, we need to be doing the healing and the self-reflection, because just like you touched on earlier, all of us in this room have some trauma that sticks with us. And when certain things happen, we perceive them a completely different way because of that. And so there's like a certain level of time spent that needs to occur where you're like, okay, like you're saying, man, like when I want space, I'm supposed to be respected, but when he does, he's acting like a female. What's going on in my brain there? And you need to go back to the source. Like when you're talking about, there's no counting to 10. If it goes there, I'm already blacked out. All right, well then we gotta look at how do we ease into dealing with those types of triggers, right? Like the work has to start before it gets there, because otherwise the fuse is so short. You know what I mean? Like it's already got only that much to work with. So
rely on your partner. I'm sorry. You just can't rely on your partner or your whoever the other person is to know what your triggers are or how to do things. You have to acknowledge them for yourself and understand for yourself what it is that's causing you to get upset or even think back, like you said, those underlying trauma or things we've been through. You have to understand what makes you feel that way. Is this normal? Is this okay for me to feel this way? Am I entitled to feel this way or react this way just because, so-and-so happened to me? And a lot of times it's not. And like I said, you can't keep that to yourself. If you're dealing with the relationship, you got to be open and share that, admit that to yourself and, want to work on that with someone. You can't just expect them to just know it all. You can't even say what's wrong, so absolutely.
Technically, we are not mind readers and they are not either. That's one thing we really got to know.
And it's kind of ironic. Also, as I was like listening to everyone, Tisha Campbell, I guess just recently, last week, filed for a restraining order against Dwayne Martin, her ex-husband, citing that he tried to put to grab her and like get her to go in the bedroom, maybe to have a conversation. It doesn't detail that part, but she pressed it because she said, I can no longer live in fear of retaliation. The need to press criminal charges for his acts overshadows the embarrassment of making his crimes against me public throughout this report. I guess she basically said that he has been mentally, physically, emotionally abusing her for years, like since the beginning of their career over her weight, which, if you remember, definitely went up and down her career, whether she was working or not working. And I guess one time she said he punched her in the chest or whatever. So basically now they have a restraining order after 22 years. And that's so sad because when you hear something like 22, and I remember when they first filed, I was like, no, that was one of our Black royalty Hollywood. And you think because they've been together all this time and they're pretty and they're nice and they have successful careers that they're happy. And that doesn't mean that at all. And y'all also saw, I'm sure, a taste of that when you hear like Will and Jada sit down at the red table, if you've seen any of those episodes, and you like hear all kinds of stuff that you're like, damn, I thought they was on the up and up. I thought they was always vibing. And just because you didn't hear anything, it just meant they didn't want their information to be messy. It just, you know what I'm saying? So you never know what people have going on in their lives. So that's really sad.
Yeah, that's sad. That hits home for me. Yeah, that's so hard to deal with. People change constantly, and that's the main thing. And it's like when you want to be with somebody, you have to understand that they change, you change, and you have to be respectful of that. Like you might walk outside and you see something, someone might get hit by a car. No, I don't want to get hit by a car. I'm just saying, but you might see something and then it changes the way you perceive life. And when somebody else doesn't experience that, they're not going to perceive life like that either. So that's hard. I like that topic. That was good. That was intense.
It was. I feel like we have to lighten up with something, something fun. No, just stay heavy. Okay, all right. Stay heavy and then move to something lighter.
Well, it's 7:05 and Whitney Chanel has walked in the building. The makeup god.
Yes, and we got Lakaya in the building.
Yes.
the #1 booking agent. What's up? Yes, help yourself.
Yes. It's an attempt to have a flavor like the flavor at your party, Sip and Slay. So Whitney had a really dope party. Was it 2 weekends ago?
Oh yeah, the ladies
Sip and
thing.
Slay. And it was like a kind of take on Paint and Sip, but you've made your face up. You got all these cool makeup tips. So the punch that we're drinking tonight is a mimic of that.
Oh, hey, thank you.
That punch. Cheers. So I want to play you guys this song real quick, if it's okay. It's called Every Man's Fear, and it's by Vic the Purifier. You guys, are you familiar with him, Rach? Okay, so is it okay? Okay. So he is a local Columbus artist. Dude is really dope. He has some really like woke music. And this song, it hit home for me because it's like, what if a man had to live what a lot of these women live through? And then it really comes full circle at the end. So pay attention because it's a story. At the end, he reminds you of the real fear of the generational curse. That my brother, it don't feel good when it's your kid. It don't feel good when it's your sister. It don't feel good when it's your cousin. Doesn't feel good. Didn't feel good when it was your mom. So I'm gonna play it, and then I want to talk about it. Hopefully it'll let me play it. Yeah, it will.
The fuck you and your nigga or women, we will leave.
Okay. We fast forwarded a bit.
Let's talk about it. Pure what? He said,
Wow. Okay, let me play.
That's how we feeling. That's how we doing it.
Figure that out. I'm going to play a little Rich World beat. Maybe.
Right. Praise the Lord.
And we're going to get back to it.
Said I did that chopper like I see you, boy.
I don't really care about the finer things. Just make sure my family good and take them places they ain't never seen and do the things they wanna do but never could. I just wanna make my mama proud. I just wanna buy them all a house. I just wanna put on for my team. I'm trying to make sure everybody ain't about to worry about no drama. Ain't about to worry about no stress. I'm trying to wrap me up some commas. Ain't really worry about the next. I'm trying to focus on my grind. I'm trying to keep real ones around me. I gotta keep a positive mind. I gotta protect my energy. So tell a hater I say, la 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 la, la 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 la. I live in my best life. La 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 la. I live in my best life. La 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 la. I live in my best life. La 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 la. So tell a hater I say. One day I wake up in Greece, staring at the ocean in disbelief. Cause everything that I used to dream is now reality. My face all strong, I'ma claim it now. It feels so good to see my mama smile. It feels so good to see my family proud. Used to seeing negative, we're seeing thousands. And we worry about what we can't control. Can't do nothing about it, it just let it go. Life is precious, so I'm living like gold. And I gotta keep it real, cause that's all I know. Went from hand-me-downs to the Grammys now. Oh, how I wish Randy could see me now. Oh, how you wish that you could be around. Middle finger to anybody that ain't worry about no drama. Ain't about to worry about no stress. I'm trying to wrap me up some commas. Ain't really worry about the next. I'm trying to focus on my grind. I'm trying to keep real ones around me. I gotta keep a positive mind. I gotta protect my energy. So tell a hater I say, la, la,
What if she paid her side niggas rent? And the nigga post memes about the shit, huh? What if she made you insecure and paid for your surgery to turn her on more? Yeah, what if she asked you for a threesome like I wanna fuck you and your nigga? Or women, we would leave them. What if ladies could play like babies wasn't theirs, but it looked just like them and they ain't even care? Yeah, what if she caught a bid? Would you give full custody and handle all the kids, huh? What if she pay for dick? You be out here buying pussy on the regular and shit, To all our women, I thank you for your patience, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. Give us all your heart, all we do is break it, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. To all our women, I thank you for your patience, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. Give us all your heart, all we do is break it, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. What if she named your daughter after her, made her daughter a junior, and still ain't put her first, huh? What if she was in the game? Would you have her car and her home and it all in your name? Bruh, what if she posts pics of money, and when you ask for some, her energy get funny? What if she with the mail reviews and threw 1,000 on them niggas like you do for strippers do, huh? What if you had to cook and clean, get the kids ready for school, and still pursue your dream? What if she sat in the trap and never answer FaceTimes, but I'll only call you back, huh? To all our women, I thank you for your patience, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. Give us all your heart, all we do is break it, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. To all our women, I thank you for your patience, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. Give us all your heart, all we do is break it, cause we dish it out, but we can't take it. We all hypocrites, we all contradict. You reap what you sow, so remember this. Every seed you plant, it shall grow. Patterns, universal law, you know. Player shit is cool until it happened to your daughter. She fell in love with a man just like a father. Player shit cool until it happened to your niece. Just the karma that you might see. Player shit was cool until it happened to my sis. She fell in love with a nigga like her bro Vic. When the women in your family cry, that's the worst tears. What you hear is every man's fear.
Okay, so that's the song. Again, that is Every Man's Fear by Vic the Purifier. So what did you guys think? Anybody want to go first?
It reminded me of Beyonce's Think Like a Boy. If I was a boy, yeah. Where she basically, gave you the idea of role reversals and how, put it back out there, like all these things that we do go through in different relationships that we just take. And if it would whether or not it would be different if you were the opposite sex. So interesting.
They got something to say about the song.
Word up. Breaking Ground Radio.
Okay, Tiff, you say it.
Oh, Lord.
Go ahead.
Breaking Ground Radio. This is Tiffany L. What's up?
Hey, what's up? This is L Boogie, man, from Show 83. I was checking out the show.
All right. Appreciate that. You
How
got
y'all
some
doing?
thoughts on some topics that we
It's
talked
okay
about?
for a man to call in on a woman's show today, right?
Hey, now.
Well, thanks for calling.
But no, I was listening to y'all to the song, man. I thought it was dope. It is definitely every man's fear, first and foremost. Second of all, I know a lot of people that actually is going through some of that with their daughters and with their nieces. So yeah, and I'm glad to hear a song that's actually trying to put some knowledge in some dudes' heads instead of out here just trashing women all the time.
Well, we appreciate you calling in.
Oh, no doubt. And shout out to y'all for doing y'all's thing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure. 83. Say it
You're
again,
welcome.
Rach.
Shout out Show 83.
What does that mean? Squad, whatever. That me.
Okay. Did you have did you hear us? Did you hear us talking about the whole Bow Wow thing? Have you already? Never mind. Well, guys, we said thank you. We didn't really. All right.
I appreciate him for even understanding. Well,
we were supposed to interact and make the caller want to continue to talk to us, not get clicked until he was like, these bitches don't got shit to say. Click. Like
he said what he said. That was it.
I said.
Yeah, y'all was like stone
y'all
quiet. Y'all was like,
walk away. Like, y'all just want to lie. Just stop and walk away.
Shut up.
He let us know he was done with the conversation. And we have to accept that. That's what we just learned. See, y'all was all ready to fight your brother already.
I don't need no more of that energy. You can keep that energy, you know what I'm saying?
Well, what do you guys think? Does anybody else have anything good to say about? Well, I mean, just say whatever you need to say.
I like the song. I thought that he was making some pretty great points. And I appreciate the honesty. Like, I really appreciate when, like, somebody is like, yo, I'm not shit and I'm terrified of my family members experiencing people like that. Because I know I felt like that way about myself in different ways. But I don't know. I kind of have the unpopular hot take that I feel like women do just as much ridiculous, messed up things to men. But because we're women, they don't hit us the same way that the things that they do hit us. Like the things that really, really affect us to our core might not always affect them the exact same way. And then vice versa, the things we do, I think really cut deep, like the way that we might condescend or we might, push over people, or especially like, women who really have a lot to say and have that opinion. We can definitely bowl over people. We can be belittling. Yeah, exactly. Manipulation, lying. Like we do a lot of stuff. And I don't know if I feel like it's fair to say that it's even weighted heavier on one side or the other. I don't know if I'm unfair for saying that either, though. So you guys can check me if I am for real, for real.
That's your opinion. Yeah. So don't check you.
If I'm wrong, though, I need to be told. But I did like the song. I like what he talked about because it is like those are major problems. Like he didn't lie. He didn't say anything untrue. He didn't say anything I disagree with. All true. But like, I don't know. I want to see accountability on both sides, I guess.
Right. That song for me, like, it hit home in a lot of reasons because one, I feel like my dad, I love him to death, but he ain't shit. And like, to be honest, like he has been a womanizer in his life. He has taken advantage of women in so many different ways. He's never, from my experience of knowing him, been physically abusive, but he's definitely not been the nicest. And I don't know if you guys saw when it was like the Text Your Parents challenge. And I text my dad, like, I didn't ask to be here, so you should pay my bills. And he was like, well, your mama should have kept her whole ass legs closed. And it was like, what? And it was just like, for you to be able to say that to your daughter, you know what I mean? Like, and then to know, like, the things that I personally have dealt with men, like, my level of, like, what I can take is so high. I don't even understand. Yeah.
You said that to your dad because I was like, oh, I already died.
Oh, well, it was a challenge.
It wouldn't matter.
It was a challenge.
I said fine to my dad, like in 10th grade. He said something and I said fine. And this nigga jumped over his desk and choked me out. No bullshit. I'm not, this is not like me trying to say, oh, I'm telling you a funny story. I'm serious as fuck. Like hands around throat. Like, what did you say? Not when I pay for all this shit and take care.
Oh, but see, my
right.
dad,
Like,
no,
serious. Like, I went to school the next day, like, tried to tell on him, like, yo, I have scratches. And they was like, you probably did something.
Your dad probably raised you. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dad didn't raise me like that. Okay. Like, I didn't meet my dad till I was 8. Me and my sister are 6 weeks apart. And we was really supposed to be 4 weeks apart, but I was 2 weeks late. Like, literally, like, yeah, and my mom might have been a little bit out here, but so was he, obviously. Right, clearly. Like, so, and it's like, it comes full cycle. Like, and my sister, like, I love her to death, but she has a lot of issues too. Like, she just basically has sworn men off. Like, she's not, like, she doesn't go the girl way, but she's just like, I just like my cat and my dog and that's it. because we are so afraid of, one, she's like afraid to be treated the way our dad has treated women and be played or feel any type of way. And our cousins and our uncle can't even go into that. But then it's like me, I've jumped in and I allow myself to get treated. Just not, I'm not gonna say anyway, but pretty much I've been through a lot of shit. And so it is that generational curse, and it scares the hell out of me because it's like, oh my gosh, my daughter is being raised by, look at the men that are around her, look at her uncles, look at her, you know, these different people. And it scares me, like, what if she sees that and she's like, this is okay. Like, it's okay to be treated like this. And I'm over here like, you're a queen. Never take this, never take that. But she takes it. Like, hell no, it scares the shit out of me. But that's the real reality that we live in. Like, you make your own choices. Okay, don't be quiet.
All right, y'all. So first of all, Tiffany, I can't excuse what you just said. Your feelings are valid, first of all. And honestly, I don't want you to feel shamed because your father raised you. Okay, so it was a little right, but I'm just saying the verbiage that came out is a little shaming. It's shaming, okay? Because I get it, okay? I saw my father every day. We lived in the same household. I can tell you where he was every single day. He went to work and he went to church. That's all he did. If he wasn't at work or church, he was in his room watching TV, okay? The only other time he came out of his room was to have dinner. I knew where he was every single day, but my father was not there for me. I have no relationship with him whatsoever, but I can still tell you where he at. It's unfortunately the norm that we have in our society that you feel that that's okay, and it's not. So the way that you tell your child to not deal with it is you change her reality. Okay, so if that's the reality, quote unquote, you change it for her, because I have the generational curse in our family where, you know, I've been abused. My mother was abused. My grandmother was abused, and they didn't have a relationship. So my mother and I didn't have a relationship. And I said, no, it stops here. So I changed the environment for my daughter. And now my daughter and I, we have the best relationship ever. I'm to her what I always wanted. I'm the mother to her that I always wanted. So you change that. That's my answer to you. My answer to, and my response to you is, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry you went through that, because that is abuse. Okay. I'm a product of child abuse. So I know what that looks like. And the fact that he had his hands around your throat, I'm sorry that you went through that, because it affects you and it affected you. All right. So I say, I know we don't like to talk about therapy, but therapy is amazing because that's a trigger for you. And I know it's a trigger because of how it came out your mouth. So you have to dive into that and say, what is my past so that my future can be better? When you understand what your past was, knowing why your father did that, you have to understand why he did it. And then you can move past it. Why did your father do it? And it's not excusing what they did. And it's not saying, oh, you was good. Oh, you was a Rolling Stone. That's cool. Because we hear that song and we think it's cool. The men are out there and all that kind of stuff. And this song just told us what the women were out there like that. And we are. Let's talk about it. But my thing is, that was the norm and it doesn't have to be. So I would look into your triggers, because that definitely is one for you. Okay.
You be helping everybody.
Hey, because I've been there and I know I had many triggers. And that's why I had to look at my past, and I didn't excuse what my mom did to me, but I was like, dang, now I get it. Now I get why you abused me.
So I guess, well, I won't say that I feel like okay. It was not a normal thing for him to like put his hands on me. I don't want y'all to like be like sad for me or anything. Like I'm fine. I said that because it was very much a thing. Like, you will always be respectful. You will always remember who the parent is. And I think I, as a child, did not take that very seriously. You know, like, that's my dad. That's his job. He goes to work. He pays for all the shit. Like, that's his job, right? But as a parent now, and I'm raising 2 girls, and they are middle school and running into that whole ungrateful age of they're like kind of grateful and they love you, you know that they love you, but at the same time they always need/want more, and what you gave them yesterday isn't quite cutting it today, and they just loose with the lips from time to time. Like we often, my boyfriend and I often are quick to be like, oh Lord, like you lucky that we are not the parents that we had, because you would have been backslapped down them steps by now. Now it's not to be funny. It's us trying to relate to them how good they have it and how they should be grateful and be quiet and be thankful. And it just surprised me because I did not know anything about Jessica's relationship with her father. So when I heard her say what she said to her dad, it just surprised me because there was no way in the world you couldn't say nothing like that to my dad. Like, and I understand as a parent who was paying for all the things that I now know what he was paying for. Not that it's excusable what he did, but at the same time, it reminds me to be grateful because things could have been worse. I could have been, I don't know. That's what.
You brought up the point. Even if it was briefly where you talked about your kids and how, if they knew how our parents were, because, what's amazing is, one, it's incredible the way that you have broken those cycles. So that's already a testament and something that's amazing. And, but just to real quickly to come alongside of what you were saying, I know that my dad, growing up, he and I had problems and he and I could still have issues now, but like the way that his relationship with his father doesn't even compare. Like it was just bad, and there's no other way to put it. And I know that at different times, I had a hard time where I'd be like, well, is this issue I have with my dad, is it really that big a deal? It only happened, like he only got, maybe mad and yelled as opposed to hitting me, or, like, is it okay? It only happened a couple times. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is we don't have to be demonizing or saying anybody's evil or anybody is wrong to just be able to go ahead and not normalize it and say those times it happened was still not okay. And that doesn't mean that we're still broken about it. Doesn't mean that they're evil or that we can't have relationships with them. But we also don't want to, like, because we're out here breaking those cycles, we got to always call it what it is when we see it. So, but I think, yeah.
Okay, I'm a small business owner, so my insurance doesn't cover counseling. So I want to know if for free I can come and lay on Danielle Smith's couch and get some counseling about my life. And are you licensed?
I am not licensed.
So does that mean that I can get some unlicensed free help? Because I ain't got no copay or no insurance that's gonna cover that. I only can get shots and immunizations, and if I get like real sick, like leukemia or something. But other than that, there's no help for me. So
I have payment plans. I do take Cash App.
Okay.
And PayPal.
Okay, is it gonna be less than the counselor on my insurance? I just want to.
Yes, I'm sorry. Wait. Can we just listen to what she just said, which is the insurance agent does not herself have.
I have insurance, but it don't cover any counseling. Like there's no counseling.
I'm gonna need you to get a better package plan because that shit is necessary. Black woman.
Oh my God, we done went from this to insurance.
I'm just saying.
Well,
it's surprising that she the insurance money guru and
I have medical coverage. I did not know that I had a mental psychiatric issue until right now today. Okay. So when open enrollment comes next year,
I knew you had a problem when you had came to my house 2 months ago. You were telling me your crazy ass story. I knew then that you needed somebody's couch.
You knew long before that.
I knew you needed a pat. Oh, I knew that one day I seen you at the club. I was like, "Well, somebody take her home."
Like just this segment, like kind of leads up to like really our next big thing, and it's really like us helping each other. Like all of us sitting around here, we're having this conversation. We're talking about one thing, and Danielle is like the coolest like mediator because she's the most trained in how to really deal with dealing with issues and dealing with yourself and other people. But it's like when you're around all these women, we all want to succeed, but different attitudes, different perceptions, they can sometimes like clash. And it's like, well, you know this person's talented, or you know this person has this network, but you don't really want to fool with them because you don't like the way that they might have handled the situation. So it kind of leads up to queens helping each other fix each other's crowns, and how we can communicate and talk and work better together, you know, and like I feel like an asshole because I just totally dismissed Tiff, and I'm like, I didn't even think about it like that.
I didn't feel dismissed. It's okay.
Okay, well, no, but still, because you know what? And I'm gonna be honest, like when me and Jordan were talking earlier about this show, and he was like, oh, shoot, it's gonna be a lot of y'all. And I'm like, that is so negative. And he's like, there you go with that dismissive attitude. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I hear that about myself a lot. And I don't mean to be like that. It's more of like, I'm just trying to handle the next, like what's in my mind. I'm not trying to dismiss you. I'm just trying to like, okay, well, I get what you're saying, but let me tell you what I'm saying. But that could be hard for then somebody to work with me who maybe doesn't want to feel dismissed, or they want to get something off their chest. So how do we let's talk about that? Like, how do we all deal with each other? How can we be better with communication and get over ourselves? I'm sorry.
For me, go ahead. Oh, my bad. I know for me, I love the opportunity to learn from other people. And I think a lot of people miss out on that opportunity because they have such an expectation out of people from the get-go before they know them. And when they set that expectation, I feel like they don't allow that room for that person to be them true selves and to handle things the way that they do. And just because it's not the way that you handle it or you go about things or you perceive things doesn't mean that it's incorrect. Doesn't mean that it's less valid, or, you know, you should belittle somebody or look down on them or whatever. But I just think that people forget that they're just one out of millions of people. And which means it's one out of millions of ways to get things done. And I just think people immediately judge people based off of how they perceive things to be done. And if it's not adding up to that, like you said, that dismissal that comes like second nature. It's automatically just kind of the way they perceive someone, the way they are interested in hearing anything else that person has to say. They kind of already decided, like, oh, they not about shit. They not about my shit, so I don't, you know. And I think that opportunity is left out, and it's omitted a lot, just having that sense of entitlement, I feel. And I feel like we need to let that down and learn from one another, because we know so much that other people don't. And that's a part of your gift, part of your duty here on this earth is to share that knowledge, you know. And if you're not giving anyone that opportunity to give that knowledge, I ain't going to get gospel on you, but then you're not allowing them to do God's work. So, I mean, and that's just, I think, something we got to look at ourselves and take accountability for that. So
stop using my shit if you're not going to let me show you how to use my shit. For real, though.
She said what she said.
To go along with T-Raw over here, basically, stop judging people. Don't come with a prejudice. If you're not going to let me be myself or me come as I am, then don't let me, you know, don't even come around me. Don't let me show you how to treat me. Like, people so used to, like, oh, she remind me of so-and-so, or I had a bad experience. Like, okay, so what? Even if I do come to you a similar way, like, it's still up to you to give that person an open communication, not block them off, not have a prejudice. Like, prejudice is way past color. It's about how you were raised and how you look at people. So if you don't take the time to stop and say, you might operate a different way, but I'm just only going to operate my way. I'm not going to let you live your life. Like, that's retarded, for one. You just got to give people a chance sometimes. Like,
my favorite thing I just learned is, hello.
Oh no,
it's not.
The spinach dip has been dropped, Joss.
My cheese do it. Okay, but I want to say one thing I learned, though, you know, one of the favorite things I learned I didn't know is that the first organ that's created in your body is your heart. I did not know that. I thought it was your brain for some reason. You know, just because you use our brain so much to think about so many things, and you're trained from the time that you're born to the time that you're 18 to think like everybody else. So what you're doing is you're trying to figure out yourself, but you're going by what everybody else's perceptions are, because that's what you're taught to do. When you're born, you're taught
pink and blue, girl, boy. Soon as you're out the womb, oh, you're not gonna play with those toys. This is what you're gonna play with. This is what you're gonna do. This is how you're gonna dress. You have no time to think for yourself. When you go to school, you're taught certain subjects, but you're still not taught to be open-minded at all. So I thought that was important to know that you think with your heart, So if you do everything with compassion, you do everything with love, it's always going to be the right answer. Even if you don't understand what somebody's doing. If you just say, okay, I don't get it, but you know what? I trust who you are, what you're doing, and if that's what you want to do, that's what makes you happy, it's good. If everybody thought like that, then everything would be cool. So the main answer is just loving with compassion. Whatever it is compassion. Even if it's the messed up thing, you don't get it. And then when you talk about your past and everything, when you're trying to move forward with your life, and I say that because everybody knows, well, I don't know if everybody knows, but I was in the shelter like a while ago and I stayed there for 5 months. And when you look at me in the shelter, if somebody else would know that I was in the shelter, if I was sitting at the bus stop and I know where I was going and I'll tell them I was in the shelter, they wouldn't know what I was doing on the side, that I was like just was with Vivica Fox, or I was with, other people at the Funny Bone and doing all this stuff. They just know that I'm in the shelter. So it's like, you can't just look at somebody's situation. That's what it taught me, because when I was in the shelter, when I got in there, I knew people's stories that are on the street that y'all look at that have these homeless signs that are really people that just fucked up with a job, and somebody kicked them out, but they're really a good person. They ended up in the shelter and they just couldn't get their shit back together. And that can happen with all of us, but we just have family members that take us in, So just like everybody else, like people can have somebody that can just take them in. But I got to the point where that's not what I wanted. But if you looked at where I was, which is what the world does, it's a social norm, because materialism, it's a battle between materialistic and reality, and materialistic wins. At the end of the day, you have to have Jordans, you have to have this, you have to show who you are on the outside. And then you don't miss the most important part about what's on the inside, and that's where the world get messed up at. So if you do everything with compassion, it'll probably be cool.
I want to lay on your couch too.
Oh,
Nani is a good time.
What? I did not know I was getting all. I wouldn't have got drunk if I knew this was going to be there.
Nandi is one of the most like woke people in Columbus, and people don't realize that about her. Like, yo, she will tell you some stuff and have you really like get on your shit. She'll change your whole view perspective. Don't listen to certain music. She won't tell you how to wake up. She'll tell you what to listen to. She'll tell you to meditate. Listen, it's some powerful women.
About stuff, but you have to understand that we don't have the choice of every decision that you feel when you wake up. That's so hard. It's so easy to be negative. People don't get that. You think you're so stressed and you're so sad, but that's really so easy to be, because that's for everybody. It's normal.
Ain't that crazy?
Somebody.
Yeah, or be positive.
Yeah, or be positive.
Change the situation a positive. Yeah, you're right.
So you have to be different. You have to be that 1% out of the 98, 99 that's messed up. And it's hard. You got to do that. But why not, if you don't know when your last day is? Why not just spend that last day? Just say, I'm sorry. Because I don't care.
Also just touching on what you were talking about with the idea of materialism versus what's reality. Like, not only is that all we see, it's all we put out too. So like, just briefly, like if we want to fix each other's crowns, we got to let each other see that they're crooked too. Like we got to quit acting like shit's good.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Let me get my video camera out so you can say that shit again.
Oh, shit.
Rewind.
He wants me to remember it like I planned it.
Okay.
Now say that again.
I said if we want to fix each other's crowns, we got to quit acting like they're not crooked and be honest with each other.
Oh, God. Isabel. Tiffany, what were you going to say?
Taking offense, and that's I feel is the issue, because you try to tell a woman, you seeing something in the area she can improve in, and or you want to even be there to help her. How does she take that? 9 times out of 10, it's not accepting. It's not something that they feel is even you are in a genuine space when you're offering this assistance or offering this help. They automatically assume your intentions is wrong, and it sucks. And I feel like that with this social media, these standards, whatever, it breaks down that bond that we can have with each other. Yeah. We're so against each other. There's so much competition with each other. We can't even have trust that anyone is even in our corner.
Who gave you the right to tell me what's wrong with me, first of all? Now, with that statement being said, become my friend first before you tell me shit. Introduce yourself. Get a common ground with me. If you're going to train me, let me understand you and respect you.
Who are you to tell me anything? Period. And that's the arrogance that we hold as people. But it's real talk to the person trying to. There's a Bible scripture that says, take the raft out your own eye before you take the stick out of my eye. So who are you to tell me anything? Are you my friend? No, you just want to tell me something wrong with me because you think you're better than me. Sit down and become somebody's friend. Find a common ground first before you ever judge anybody. Prejudice comes way past color. People always trying to judge, oh, you should do this or you should be like this. I don't see you as me, so you're not good enough. Get to be my friend, sir, and understand why I can't do it like you can. Then tell me how to do it. People so stuck up and trying to tell somebody how to be better, but they can't even do shit better. That's the part that annoys me about people. Become my friend. Introduce yourself to me first. I don't even know your name. Why are you telling me what's wrong with me? Get on my face.
And you know what's really interesting about it is if they do become our friend, even if they're messed up in an area, if they talk to us about it, we're going to be willing to hear them because they've been honest, vulnerable, and real with us. So we know they're just human like us. So we don't expect perfection from people who come in and have built friendships. We expect perfection out of people who come in an authoritative way when they don't have the right, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So when we build friendships, then I can be transparent. Like, yo, I'm really messed up. Like I might be like, yo, like, I'm a little worried about this and this, but I just told you that I'm struggling with that a week ago too, but we're friends. So you can hear that as opposed to what you said. I just met you off the street. So as we're building the friendships, that's when we got to be like, yo, like you can really see that I'm messed up too. And then it builds that trust that you're talking about.
Yeah, let me trust you before you tell me how to change myself.
Because how do you even know what you're telling me to do is what I want to do? How do you know that's what my intentions were in the first place? So you can't tell me what I'm doing wrong when you don't even know what the right thing that I was trying to do. So absolutely.
Yeah. Deep. Let's get to know each other before we.
Swamp ain't coming back to this show.
He can't. He can't. No, then that's real. Like, I feel like at some point in time, just about everybody in this room had like a little bit of a deep conversation with. And when you really are able to get to know somebody and you can say like, this is what I've been through, it really makes them see you for who you are. And then you can talk to them about, you know, like what you need to improve at. It's this girl at the gym today, and I've been watching her for about 3 months. And I've been wanting to tell her so bad, like, girl, you on them ellipticals? Lift your head up, baby. Because she on them ellipticals looking down. And I'm like, I don't know how you doing it. I know you ain't breathing, baby. I know you ain't breathing.
Go because I'm trying to keep my rhythm.
Yeah, but she like, and she coming in and she like I don't see really no progression. Like she, you know, she's beautiful and I could tell that she's really trying, but it's like, yo, lift your head up. So today I was like, hey girl, we had a great conversation. I'm like, you know, this is my journey. And she gave me her journey and I was like, just real quick. No shade, but I've been on my cardio journey, and let me tell you, when I learned to look up at the TV and not look down at my feet, I was able to go faster. She was like, oh my gosh, thank you. So tomorrow when we're in the gym, I'm sure she's gonna be looking up at the TV and not looking down at her feet because, I mean, at the end of the day, what are you looking down for? For what? No.
Really like,
But it's like, you know, you can't approach people. You can't want to hurt their feelings. Like, you can't just look at them like, lift your head up. She'll be like, what? Who are you? Like, what? Like, you ain't here. You looking like this. You lifting with the boys. You doing this. You doing that. Well, I done did this. Like, then it becomes a conflict versus literally sitting down and having the conversation, like, back and forth. And now we're like friends and I wanted her to know her more. And I'm like inviting her to things. And she's so cute. She's bomb and she's all about the neighborhood and not like we're really genuine with each other. Like I wanted her to come tonight.
So similar situation. I'm glad Nicole is here for this because I guess I'm bringing it up.
I'm not sure what's about to happen, but it was not rehearsed.
Well, whatever. A couple, about a month ago, was me at 90s then?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We was at Eclipse. I want to say we was at Eclipse for something Nandi was putting on, probably Attitude Tuesdays or something. I don't remember, but I was sitting next to one of Nicole's friends, who's one of my, new friends, new acquaintances, I guess I should say. And she said something to the effect of, let me hand you some gum. You want some gum, right? And okay, I am not really easily offended, but I'm very much a jokester. So I was like, oh my God, you think my breath stinks? You so rude. Like, and I was, I guess, so convincing that she was upset that she had upset me that my breath stank. Now, on the one hand, yes, I do want you to tell me my breath stinks, so I'll be in somebody else's face thinking I'm cute. But it's also a really, listen, it's also a really hard thing to hear somebody say to you, like, you're pretty, but your breath is stank. You know what I mean? Like, that's hard to hear. Like, because you think, like, especially if you think, like, you're doing it for the night, you, like, got your hair all cute and you don't taste funky breath. You know how you can taste funky breath? But you get, I'm saying, like, we was drinking shots and we was drinking or whatever, so maybe, the crown had made my breath not tasty. I don't know, whatever. Anywho, it's fine. Anyhow, I left with a good spirit, took my little gum on with me and kept it moving. Apparently, shut up. Apparently, Nicole and her friend, like, really like had a whole 2-week conversation about why she shouldn't have been so forward as to be like, that's disrespectful.
You was on the radio.
And I didn't think it was disrespectful. I did take it as, I appreciate you, sister, for letting me know. Like, if you see my thong out my pants, please, by all means, be like, boo, and then pull my little tank top down. Like, help me out. I want to be my best self. I want to represent my best self. If I'm thinking I'm cute, if I'm thinking I'm sexy, I'm thinking I'm about to, talk to somebody and say something, by all means, let me know. And by me, like, pretending to be upset, she was really, so it really does speak to, the whole situation of, can you say something to people that you do not know very well and have them take it in a good place and take it as like I appreciate you trying to help me out. Like,
it's scary to do that.
Like
If somebody got a booger, I just be like, when do I say it? I don't know when to go in. Like, this is important to you. So it's like,
right, because you would be devastated if somebody just let you have a full-on conversation and you got like a dangler. But it's like I'm over here like posing, like, ow, and you like.
It just happened the other day. That's why somebody's talking to me at the mall. I'm like, I'm going in. I just don't know when.
So how did you say it? Was it like? Is that what you said?
Exactly like that.
Oh my God!
In my head. I know I did.
Of course she didn't. Of course she didn't know she had a booger. Because why would she keep the booger if she didn't?
It was right there.
Oh God!
Somebody else.
And
then your security, I'm not gonna take you serious. Like, they was like, you're stealing. They were like, well, you got a booger.
Not you was stealing.
Oh, okay. Nobody's gonna take you serious with that. It was right there. Here, look at you. And he was talking about something serious too, like something deep. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in. I remember what it was. Yeah. Y'all really want to know? No. I was wondering because
I do.
Sometimes you so distracted.
She asked about a lady that's a witch. Like, this is a whole
somebody that's a witch
level.
that's trying to have sex with him. She said she was a witch.
Yeah.
To him.
You know,
yeah, and I'm like, she a witch. Okay, but
maybe she getting your ass right now. That's a spell right there.
That's a boogeyman. I know you had that all day. Nobody said nothing. Not even your homeboy. That's not your boy. Man. That's the one thing I hate. Like someone. Us as women.
He was like, can I get a slushie? I was like, before the slushie.
Oh, you have to excuse
Nandi. I want that to follow him, girl. Like, that's the worst slushy ever. Like, you get to that chewy part. Oh, my slushy chewy.
But why is it not comfortable just to be like, hey, you got boogie? You know, like, why is it?
Because people are so easily, people are so easily embarrassed.
Okay.
I really.
He thought he was doing it. He thought he was doing it.
No, but listen, I don't know why. Every time I gotta tell somebody something like that, why do I immediately say something embarrassing about myself right after? Like that's how I deal with it. Like yeah, like that's the only way I know how to do it. I'll be like, hey, like that's cool. Hey, the other week, like my ass was hanging out. I'll just say some wild shit because I'm so uncomfortable.
You care. That's
yeah, I'm so uncomfortable.
like, hey,
It might come back.
I'll probably make it worse though. They didn't want to know that.
This is why girls rule and boys drool, because we are literally in here having the best time. We talked about Bow Wow and his abuse.
Dude, you have a booger.
Don't laugh when you say it, though. That's the whole damn point. Just Bow Wow and his abuse.
It's so funny. We talked about
the whole point was that we're not laughing.
No, I'm not laughing at him because I feel bad for him.
I just think the saddest part about this, I wonder if the other reason that he's so badly clowned is because he has been caught in so many lies and like, what do you when you say something but you dramatic?
Bow Wow. I feel like Soldier Boy right now.
Like he's been caught in so many exaggerations that it's like, really?
The Bow Wow challenge?
Really?
What's the Bow Wow challenge?
The Bow Wow challenge is that you say that you're doing something and you're really not. Like, so supposedly he was on the airplane. The Bow Wow challenge, he was on the airplane in first class, and he was really riding coach. So it's now called the Bow Wow challenge. So who wants to go with me to the Hyundai dealership so I can say I have a e-quiz and it's mine?
I'm down.
That's the Bow Wow challenge.
That's so sad.
You crop yourself being on the beach in the Bahamas.
Silly shit on his own. This is wait, you about to slide me some gum? Wait.
I had to get him in first. Yeah, we're gonna play. Make sure I'm good.
But meanwhile, I'm like, go ahead and slide me a piece.
You did ask for one earlier, so you
right. I already was on heightened, you know what I'm saying, security. I'm just saying thank you.
So it's 7:55. It's almost time to. I feel like Swamp need to disappear more frequently.
You rude.
I love him.
It's funny,
no, I love
rude.
him, but it's fun. This has been fun. No, not like that. No, this is fun. Like we've been talking about doing a girl show, right? You've been wanting to do it. Kari, we've been doing it, so I just
it's official. So
we need one.
So what's your slot time?
Once a month, right?
Y'all gonna get him off the show once a month. Y'all rude as hell.
Listen.
He need to go get his money anyway.
Exactly. Go get your money. Go collect. And we'll take care of it. But you still need to pay one.
He like us to represent on his shoulder, like Breaking Ground Radio, ladies. You know that's his thing.
He want to talk all mellow.
Listen, I tried to joke like for Halloween we should be swamps things.
But how
Tiffany was like, hell no. But I just want to thank all y'all ladies for coming through and gracing us with your presence and literally having this conversation. We should do it again. We're planning a live show coming up soon at a restaurant, so keep posted for that.
Is that the twerk contest that's coming up?
Oh, they have a twerk contest. I'm gonna go ahead and leave out with Seiko No Sleep, because if y'all don't know, it's just something about it. No Sling. And again, we play all girls tonight except for Vic the Purifier. Make sure y'all follow everyone. I'll post all the songs that we played. Yeah. And make sure again that y'all find Vic the Purifier. Y'all follow him. He's dope. He's woke. And he's speaking for all of us. Y'all have a great night. Wait, go ahead.
Next week we have an awesome show. We got Whitney Chanel coming in talking about.
Yes. Oh, you're here.
I just talked to you yesterday, and I said it's all good, right? All right, Whitney Chanel gonna be in here talking single to dating relationship tips. Don't have any comment on that. And we also have Jamie Blunt from Brown Girls Mentoring. She is a super dope female that my babies go to their to her group, and it's like I think ages maybe 6 to like 18, and she breaks them up into groups, and they talk about, you know, Black girls and being beautiful and self-worth and all that stuff. So we look forward to her joining the show next week.
And shout out to Amber. We gotta find her still. Okay. Amber Evans is still missing.
Yes.
All of our Columbus girls are just missing her. Y'all need to be on the watch.
Amber
I
has
don't have
been
kids,
missing
but please be on the lookout for these kids. Make sure they don't fall into these traps. It's a terrible thing all around the U.S. But
it's been 2 weeks now.
Amber's
right?
definitely in our prayers. It's been
So make sure if you guys have any information about Amber Evans, please do call Columbus Police Department. She was last seen on Scioto Mile. Her car and her phone was found, but we're praying for her. So absolutely, if you know anything, please call the Columbus Police Department.
For what?
Amber Evans. Search for Amber Evans. No sleep with Seiko Page. Y'all have a good night.
Straight out the mud. Yeah, straight out the mud.